Welcome to The Krystal Effect. I'm your host, Krystal Appleby, and I'm here to share honest, wild truths I've learned through being a practitioner for myself and others on this crazy journey of life, career, and relating. I'm not crazier, braver, bolder, or more experienced than others. Rather, I do believe I'm here to share with a deeper level of honesty than most. It's just who I am. Superficiality and mediocrity are pure boredom here, and I do believe the deepest truths and depths of our soul will set us and others free. With an allergy to anything withheld in connection and conversation, we're going to dive right into any limits or lies we tell ourselves, pierced through the mediocrity or fears of diving deep into the truth. I hope to give you an opportunity to reactivate your knowing and zeal for living rather than to be triggered, squander life and joy, and shrink away out of my energy field. But as always, choice is yours. Let's dive in. In today's episode, you get to meet my dear friend, JF, also known as Jean-Felix Turcotte. If you don't follow or know him and you want to get in his world, he is the king of all things biohacking, genetics, blood work. The man is just jazzed for healthy, optimized living, and he knows his shit. So you can follow him on Instagram. You'll see him all over my Instagram. And I hope you enjoy today's episode. It is definitely a different one for both of us and out of our comfort zones as we give you a look into the raw and open reality that both of us are tired of and are ready for our soulmates. And yet at the same time, we are seeking something that is absolutely a soulmate connection. We have a clear list each on what that looks like and are aware that there is a standard that we both are calling ourselves out and up to as we call our person in, as the standard and the bar is set high, and it's been a journey. It's been a journey. So you get a little glimpse into a little bit of everything because the tangents that we go on in our friendship and in our day-to-day conversations are outrageous. Since this conversation, I have been to San Diego and back, and we've connected and really solidified how important it is for both of us to come back to our lists. And it's not about, writing the height and the weight or the build or the income or whatever and manifesting that magically. It's about the feeling that you are seeking in a partnership, whether that's in a friendship, any sort of connection in your life, and really setting the standard so that you can't be swayed, so that when something comes along, that you don't start to lose your backbone and remember who you are. It doesn't mean that we don't ever compromise in our life or things have to shift or we become a little bit malleable, but it's ensuring we know who we are and knowing when we are shifting away from that center of who we've been on our own, that it's actually amplifying us and calling us out and up in our life and not squashing or shrinking us or leading us to question ourselves. So let's dive right in, and I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Krystal Effect podcast. We have today's guest, JF, myself, and of course, this is Krystal's podcast. We have the beautiful Krystal on today. Second episode, as you just launched your first one.
Yes, I'm so excited to have that one out of the way and talk about other stuff, fun
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I mean, your story, I don't know, when you shared your story, did you find it's like vulnerable?
No, it certainly is. And I think that's where you have these platforms so that you can allow yourself to be fully seen, expressed, and really get, you have your own community, your own tribe. I suppose, that's the biggest thing I think for me. So,
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the turning point I'm in of like finally being over solitude and having to be the hermity Leo who wants to be all about herself.
ooh. Well, that's one thing that we do share together,
Mm-hmm.
being both 6'2s, which I think is definitely a key thing. Well, in our friendship too, right? It's huge. I
Yeah,
think it's made such a huge,
we have high standards and a lot of people don't get it. And I
we
think you
do.
need to have somebody around you to sometimes reaffirm you and sometimes check you. But like, so today, standards with men.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to dive into our lists for our ideal partners, which I died laughing because the first thing I saw on yours was one of your sections on your laminated list says avatar, like as if we're in a business class mapping out our ideal client, which I fucking love so much. I love the clarity, I love the decisiveness, and the laminatedness extra.
I know, this came on. It was so interesting, actually. So I was doing this NLP session with this individual, and it was like, yeah, let's talk about these were like some roadblocks and things we wanted to talk about was really about love and having a partnership and seeking the person you desire in your life. And so we came up with a list of 6 things. And then I'm like, you know what? We're gonna laminate the shit out of this because I like to keep things tidy. So yeah, up I went into my Google Drive and did a Google Doc, and we have the list all laminated, so we have it here live. So
I
I'll be
fucking
happy to
love it.
share.
I think what we're gonna do, mine is not laminated. You might not be able to read it. I've definitely added to it with every frustration and situation that's come along. But I think we should like blindly toss them over to each other and
Absolutely.
take a minute to just like look over them and maybe dive into
Yeah.
some questions. I mean, I don't really
Oh, I'm
ask
so
questions.
excited. Oh, I'm so excited for that one because I have some pretty like I get quite a few, obviously. So do you want me to go about like my sections, what I have on my list?
Sure. It
Okay.
sounds like you want to. So let's
Absolutely,
do
I do, of course. Jeez, it's Gemini. I'm just
It's
like,
the
come
battle of two
on.
people who love being seen and
I
heard.
know. Well, okay, so let's just like to kind of give people. I'm like, so the first thing on my list. So basically, it has
Wait a
maybe the
minute though.
okay.
Let's tell people like we're both what are we both looking for?
What are we looking for,
Our
Crystal?
people. And I think that comes back to the 6-2 piece. Like we're not
Mm-hmm.
looking for I think for me even especially or not especially. For me, I know for sure I came about this list or like redid it. I've redone it about 10 times while I've been seeking this person. But I'm looking for my person, the one, the high standards, the va fucking voom.
The Baba Boom.
And I am done with the
Yeah,
kaboom.
the wishy. I always say the wishy
The
washy.
wishy washy, hot and cold. I
Mm,
can handle. Mm-mm. Nope. So I think this is also like a therapeutic episode to us claiming our fucking list and putting it out there too.
yeah.
All right, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Well, the biggest thing. So, I mean, we got this simplified. So, with this individual, so her name was Gabrielle, Gabriella. So we put that into 6 sections. So maybe I mean that can help people if that resonate with you. Why not? So I had 6 quadrants. So one would be ordered.
Mine has like 20 hearts on it.
Okay, we're so different. I'm like, I'm really structured when it comes down. So I have literally 6 squares. One section is ordered of values, non-negotiables, negotiables, avatar, and how this person makes me feel, and personality.
Okay, I love it.
Okay. Do you want? I mean, I can go in.
What do you want to do? You want to
Well, let's
dive
talk
in?
about what about like we get like a bit of structure with my list, so we can talk about the same similar
And
things.
then I'll fucking unstructure your list and
That's
you
so
can
funny.
structurize mine.
Okay. So order of values. I mean, so I have number one. I have
RESPECT.
the that's right, respect. I think this is such a huge one for myself. Um, parts of being seen, but respect is definitely such at the top of my list. Truthfulness. I've never been well, not that I know of, I've never been cheated on, or but it's not that I'm claiming that, or we're here to, but truthfulness, I
Have you
think
ever cheated on?
no, I've never. I'm such a good heart. And it's not like what some people would claim with Gemini's, like, oh, you're such a two-faced. I'm like, I call this bullshit completely. I have twins, with 2 people.
For
I think
sure. But I mean, you have to remember that when people mass talk about astrology, human design, anything, they're projecting what they've met in the past or
mm,
experienced in the past. So yeah, you have two sides, sure. But you also have this like massive integrity and big heart, and you are also, I believe, looking for the one, not just the wishy-washy kaboom.
100%, 100%. And so second one, like truthfulness, loving, openness, man, communication is such a huge one. Um, growth. So definitely somebody that actually is really, oh man, there's such this key piece about growth, like that I definitely feel is so attractive by a guy is entrepreneurial or really, yeah, definitely.
Oh
Obviously,
my god, yes.
this is I think like both like running our own business, and I think it's such a huge thing, and being okay with adaptation, new things, and challenges definitely. Adventurous. I think I do like that sense of, oh, well, you do have that for sure. I can definitely, that would be part of your list.
You know what? Those funny
I
that it never
wonder.
was.
Oh, I mean,
I
you're so
think it was,
spontaneous
and then
though.
every time that I meet somebody, I like contort to try not to be like to try not to claim that. To be like, no, it's okay if they're not adventurous. It's okay. I'm ready to settle down.
Yeah, but no,
No.
you want that
Yeah.
spontaneous. I mean, probably gonna go to San Diego while you're going, right? You're well supposed to. I mean, my God, you went to Europe recently. You went to Ibiza. I mean, you need that
Yeah.
in your life.
And it's nice to have people reflect that back
Yeah.
because I mean, when you're dating, not that I date a lot, but when you meet people, I think a lot of the time, something that I've noticed is when it's not the right person, sometimes I will overstay.
Hmm.
But the biggest thing that in the end shows me it's not the right person is that they reflect back to you the things that other people in your life, or maybe your family or other people, haven't understood. And they reflect them back as your shadows, your faults, your the things that maybe you should change or look at, or like maybe
Hmm.
you're flighty, maybe you always use travel as an escape and da 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 da. And it's like, bitch, I've been to therapy for this. I've worked through this. I don't need to go to therapy for this. I'm not escaping. This is a part of who I am. And I really think it's so important to meet the correct people, or we're going to constantly look at these things and say, well, do I want someone that's adventurous? Do I like maybe I just need someone who grounds me and is going to settle down so that I'll settle down, or so I think it's important. The older
Yeah.
I get, the more I realize like, no, bitch, I'm adventurous. And yeah, my list is long and lengthy, but I'm only looking for one person. There's 7 billion out there.
I know. We can at least find one.
I fucking hope so. I
Right?
mean, 35 years. I don't know.
7 was attention.
Mm.
I do, for me, I think it's like, not that I need to be the center of attention, but I do kind of.
I don't think you should be with a Leo, and I don't think I should be with
No,
a
I
Gemini.
know. So that we know as a friend, that's like, I think we get along so fucking well. We
But we
can,
give each other time in the spot,
exactly.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not looking to date each other,
Ooh, no.
but
No, that would be fucking a
yeah,
kaboom.
a kaboom situation. Um, and 8, happiness was like a big one. I don't know, like values. I mean,
Yeah, but you want somebody who's found happiness or knows. You
yeah,
don't want to.
dumb and
Everybody has
gloomy.
their days, but I
Oh,
think we both
we had our days,
have,
but
yeah, we have our days for sure. But nobody wants to be around someone who
no.
constantly is trying to access happiness or access us for their happiness.
Yeah, that's
No, no.
huge. I think somebody that can really bring some light and joy and kind of like really spark that thing, I think it's just, I don't know, I find that super attractive. Devotion. I don't mean that to have a guy
Ooh,
on their feet for me and be like, no, I don't want to like a beggar or whatever. That's not what I want. But I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you're one. You're devoted to me.
commitment.
Commitment. I think like I feel, that is to me is like somebody showing interest in me and like, man, I love my person. I like he's my one and he's my rock and
We're
you
such
know
fucking saps.
looking out for that person because that's just how I am with a guy. I look out for that person, like that attention. I'm just like, I fucking love it. Patience. I think like, and why I said that, I think because maybe I don't have enough patience at times, so maybe that can balance me out. um,
Me and you both.
I think like I need somebody that can actually, maybe being such a hair sign too. I can just, and plus emotional projector. I think that just I can
Okay, labels.
I know labels. I know, so label, but I'm not. It's not a I am
We
thing.
are not, our strong suits are not patience. We work
Yeah,
on it. We have
exactly.
moments of it, but I don't. I mean, I said that to you tonight. I was like, I can't be at the point in my life where I'm dating people that need me to sit and give them 6 months before they can open up and trust me anymore.
Yeah,
Like I know that I could
exactly.
cultivate the patience, but I actually can't.
And I mean,
Like I need to meet somebody who's like,
I don't know.
yep, I'll dive into that.
Exactly. For me is I mean, this is such a huge thing. It's like patience in a sense. Okay, we're probably not gonna get married the next day. But I mean some people fucking marry themselves in fucking couple days. Like literally,
Yeah, a
like
couple
lifelong
days, JF.
stories. Yeah. Like you hear these stories of people like after just a couple of weeks, they just got married. And you're like, and they're still like 20 years later, they're still together, loving each other. And I'm like, man, like that's why, like, for me, I'm just like, yes, would I get like into like a relationship with somebody probably quicker? I mean, if it's the right person.
I mean, side story, maybe you can share about that time you got
Oh my
engaged.
gosh, I did. So for newsflash, for those who didn't know, back in 2019. Yeah. Oh no, my goodness. I'm going back all the way. Oh my gosh, this is way back.
Yeah.
We're talking 2000 and sorry, 2014.
Oh my god, how old were you?
I think I was 19.
Jesus.
So I traveled to the Philippines after meeting this guy online through mutual friends at that time. I had such a like
Good
I
heart.
love Filipinos. Well, I have a big heart. And then but I had just this time period. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I saw this guy on Skype just crossing the camera. And I was like, oh, he's so cute. I was like, okay, who's this? So 7 months later, after technically quote unquote being together, never meeting each other in person, I traveled to the Philippines and I was there for 3 weeks and I got a Holy Union in Baguio
Oh yeah, you
City.
got
I
married.
got married, technically, quote unquote, not legally because it's illegal in the Philippines, and it was not through the Canadian embassy. Thank God. I mean, that would have been a big mistake of my life, probably.
Hey, hey, it's just a piece of paper. Don't trigger our divorcees.
Exactly. So it's okay. So technically, I mean, if I have multiple husbands around the globe, it's okay, right? That's okay. No, no, but we are not. He's actually happily married now in Canada. The odds, the weird thing.
In the same city as. Didn't he
That's what.
end up in the
Yeah, he
same
ended
city?
up actually moving to Fort McMurray because I tried, but we had got denied. It was such a
The
thing.
universe was
The
like,
universe was
yo,
like, "I got your back, boo. Don't do this. It's not gonna go well." So no wonder. But grateful for the moment. I mean, this is the kind of shit when I'm like patience, kind of like
we both have our
I
stories.
can do things quickly,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oops." um. Oh my god. So that's a quick story. And one of the other one, 11, comfort. I mean, I don't know why I put that, but
It's nice to feel
yeah, yeah.
supported.
I think the big, yeah. I think that's probably what I'm in more supporting, comforting. I'm like, I always say this. I'm like, if I have to fucking tell you to fucking hug me from the back,
Thank you.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's for me, it's like physical. Well, I mean, I think love languages is a huge thing for me. So definitely one of the big thing part of the comfort piece. I think like the physical touch is such a huge fucking piece for me. Like, I don't have to tell you 10 times to kiss me. Like, you just know.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it's like so important and being touching and in public. It's not like let's just like be all over each other. No, but like
Support.
I mean, this guy touching your hips and like your shoulders and like from
Mm-hmm.
your ends and like you're at a table eating somewhere. It's like, oh, I love that piece. I just
I do
love that piece.
too.
And as much as they might sound cheesy, I don't care.
No,
Like I love, like I mean, I just recently,
go there.
yeah. I mean, I could go there.
You can go there.
I just recently met been seeing somebody, been seeing. I don't know exactly, but it's like I think there's like if I go through my list, this person definitely checks like a lot of them. Um,
That's good.
yeah, definitely, like but yeah, there's a couple things, but yeah, and the last thing was humor. Somebody that can actually have fun. I mean, just like
Mm-hmm.
Krystal, if I can have a man just like her and laugh, like oh my gosh,
Yeah, but I'm not like this in a relationship at
I
all.
know, but why?
Because I've been dating people who can't meet my needs, so then I can't have fun.
Oh, okay.
Because then you're constantly like, what the fuck?
Just-
What the fuck are you doing? You're really acting like that? You're really doing this. And you're trying not to judge them, but you're the one who fucking looked at your list and was like, they have one of 60. Let's see if this will work out.
Oh my. Oh, what about you? Okay, let's share like that was some of my values. Like what are the things on your list I would
So
maybe.
mine's not sectored out
No, that's okay.
into, but I mean, a lot of my values are similar, obviously. I think we share a lot about that and get along for that reason, but values. That's not how I think. I don't think in quadrants, Jaya. I want somebody who's 5, obsessed with me. 6, treats me like a queen of hearts. 7, calls me every day and is attentive, but still has sovereignty and is grounded.
With devotion.
Yeah. And can communicate even when they're scared. Dot, dot, dot. Communicates.
Yeah, that would be part.
Communicates.
Where was that part?
I mean, I think that's in with like the
Openness.
openness, right? It's, yeah. I mean, I feel like I have won the game of life in so many areas of my life, and especially my connections. You know, like I look at my world is fucking rich with people. The only people left.
I'm half of that.
Exactly. Yeah, the only people left are really rich and like amazing people. But I do want somebody who values my allotness,
Mm,
who like looks at it and is like, fuck yeah. I realized this in the last month. I have never dated someone or entertained someone who is like bigger than me in their life, who is bigger than me in their dreams, bigger than me in their vision, and bigger than me in their depth and how they communicate. And none of them were bad people, but it's like I had this reading a few months ago and he said something that really hit home. I was like, I guess I just realized that I was always scared of actually meeting and being in a solid relationship with a good person. So I just kept picking people that I guess subconsciously I knew were never going to be enough, because then I knew it would never work out and I knew it would always end, and then it would be predictable and it would play into this victimhood of my past wounds and like our childhood shit. Um, and he was like, why do you think you picked somebody that wasn't big? And I was like, that's a great fucking question. Like what about you? Like what are you scared of? But it is that piece. It's like, oh, if somebody actually shows up and somebody actually is like, I mean, that person's gonna have their shit together in some
mm,
sense, right? So then it's like this game is over.
mm,
Not that like we can't sit on the couch late at night and podcast, but it's a different game, right? So yeah, that's my tangent. Bring me back.
mm. That's good. I mean, I like my list because it keeps things structured.
I actually crave that in a man, and like I've noticed
Yeah.
that. But I have tried. I mean, I went through engineering
Well,
school. I have tried to be that like piece, and that's something that comes up in relationships. Because I'm not that way, and I used to try to make myself that way, and that's something this year I was just like, no, no, I crave that and I love that. And when I've been with people who
yeah.
have that structure, for me it balances it out. It might
Yeah.
be too crazy and too much for them, but I think that just means it's not the right person. There's people who can like structure and ground me. And but yeah, I appreciate your list, and it will never be me.
Yeah, I mean, I just kept it clean so I can have it on a piece of, not that I want to live in a box because that's the whole point. No, and like the biggest thing for me, I think is just like, okay, what are the top things? There's many things. I think, I mean, that list is actually like 2 years old. I think
Oh wow.
it's
Oh
quite
yeah.
old. So I need to actually, I was informing Marie when I did this, but another piece, and I mean, we can touch base like on that part of yours, unless you want to go one by one.
No, I think we should hand over each other's lists and ask a couple questions.
Okay, let's do that. Oh my god, yeah, we should have done that right off the get go.
That's what I tried doing, but you wanted to do it this way, so I was trying to be open.
Oh, come on, Leo, just say it.
I know, I was
Sometimes
squashing
you
I
have
was
to.
squashing myself.
Sometimes you have to ask questions,
I don't have to ask questions. That's not what I'm here for.
right?
Motherfucker. Um okay, your first non-negotiable needs to be healthy, not unhealthy.
Oh man, I can't tell you that one is a huge thing, and that's why like, okay, past relationship is always like, and I mean, so many people I think can relate with this. And I think as a projector, we see people as projects.
Oh
we
god, me
we
too.
we
That's
want to.
our trauma.
I think so.
That's
Yeah,
just our
trying to
unhealed
fix the world,
selves.
and I think in the field of like health and wellness that I am as well too, and that was a huge piece. But I've learned so much from my past, my past relationship with that. I've been in long distance relationship
We
a
both
few
do
times.
that.
It does not work. Period. I'm sorry.
No.
Kudos to you guys if you can. For me,
No,
my no, my nervous system cannot take it.
but it's
So,
also I don't know if it was Adam Rowe or Mark Groves talks about it, and he's like,
mm,
people who keep attracting long distance relationships are typically emotionally unavailable. And I remember sitting with that and I was like, okay, at the time it kind of fit what I was going through, and then this spring it really hit home. I was like, it's true, but I have evolved out of that emotional unavailability and I'm fucking ready and excited to go there.
mm,
But then all of a sudden it was, you can play that game of are both people anyways. I think long distance is like emotional unavailability unless you're it can work for sure in certain
Yeah.
circumstances, but like, is that guy making an effort to close the gap?
Yeah. Oh, it's so I mean, I think like part of that long distance relationship, I learned so much. But I think that person, the biggest thing, I mean, I couldn't have the physical touch nonstop, like like commonly being with somebody on a day-to-day basis. So I think like part of that piece though, he was really, really good. Such a great man. I have nothing to say. I think like that was like I only have but good memories from this relationship.
That's nice of
In a
you.
sense, I think, like, I mean, you've seen like parts of me. I think when you start traveling with
Oh,
people,
yes.
you start seeing such a different picture. So with with this guy, I mean, we dated for almost over a year. That was my longest relationship I've ever had, actually, and which was long distance. But yeah, but back to the point of health, I think like for me, it's being in this space is because I've been sick myself. So it's not a question if you're not sick, but it's a matter of when. And that's where it's a huge piece for me because I know how how it impacted my life. And at the end of the day, is I don't want to end up picking up another human's
Yeah.
um poor choices because it's not my choice. It's not. And at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're like, oh, it's okay, that person can do their own thing and you can do your own thing. When it comes down to health, it's not going to work because in a lot
With
of
anything, with
yeah,
anything,
with
not just
anything,
health.
I think like
It, I think it boils down to a frequency, and we all have a frequency.
yeah,
And I think we have these like different frequencies when we meet people that we get a chance to do one of two things. We get to have this frequency together that we choose to elevate out of,
mm-hmm,
I would say, like the shadow frequency, or we get to both go down and lessen our lives, which is just shitty. But I mean, I've had a relationship like that where we both just like kind of shit the bed and started losing in life. and then, and then there's the choice where, I think I just went through this where it's like you come in at this frequency and maybe one person's stable in it and maybe one person's just reaching that frequency and they're just finding this world and they're just starting to win, and then you come in and you're going to shake each other, right? And like stir things up in your health in all of it and make each other question things, challenge each other, whatever. And then you have to decide if you're going to be able to grow together and raise that frequency, or if the one that's not stable is ready to raise that frequency and move up
yeah,
with you, or if they're going to fall away.
exactly.
And I think that's just, it doesn't matter if it's health, if it's wealth, if it's happiness. It all comes down to fucking energy and frequency.
Hmm, good piece. What? How do you feel on that one?
And I didn't even have to ask you a question. Uh, I just laughed because he has here not unhealthy. Because I mean, what does unhealthy mean to you? I would always ask.
Yeah,
Not a smokes, drinker, hard drugs, not
oh,
lazy.
I know. I'm not here for a
I
potato
love it.
couch.
But that's like, to me, that is the sixth line in human design. We can come across as judgy. And I love to see this because I mean, you're not going to go out and tell these people this, right? You're going to meet them and it's just not going to work.
I know.
But that is our standards, like no, no, and no.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
you see it and you're
smoking.
like, what are you do? You're literally killing yourself.
I know. I'm like, what the
Kudos.
fuck are you doing? And this is where I'm like, you're numb to life and you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah,
And I've been through it. I was fat before. I was a smoker before. I was a drinker before. I've done them all. So I'm like, don't tell me I'm being rude to you. I don't care because I'm like, that's just how it is. Like, truth for truth. I mean, smoking is absolutely fucking terrible. Like, you're killing yourself completely. So obviously, like, I'm not gonna track this in my life, but this is such a huge non-negotiable. Like, this is a
I agree.
non-negotiable. And drinking, and I mean, we were talking about this earlier, and this is where like I'm okay with it to a certain degree.
What's your relationship with alcohol? What's your
Exactly. Yeah.
relationship with substance? And it's the same thing. I think it comes back to over and over is the energetics. We can say it's the health, we can say it's their relationship with money,
Yeah.
we can say it's whatever. Um, but really at the end of the day, it's the energetics, because if they're doing things, what are you covering up? What are you coping? What are you using this to cope
Exactly.
from? And what are you fucking hiding from? And
Exactly.
I have negative 100 energy to sit with somebody who isn't willing to go into the depth of that or
Yeah.
hasn't sat with the depth of their own. They don't need to be me. They don't need to be in the
Mm,
energy world. They don't need to make more money than me. Yeah, we talked about this today. That changed. But
yeah.
they don't need to be me, or it's how confident they are in all of that. But it all boils back down to energy. Have they figured their shit out? Have they sat with, and not figured their shit out like they have the house, the car, the job, the this, the that? Have they figured them out? Do they know who the fuck they are? And are they know, like, all of this is just coping mechanisms?
I mean,
Your relationship with food, drugs,
I think
alcohol,
it's like if you're with somebody
movement,
that they're so numb,
they're
and
not awake.
because I've been this was part of the experience of understanding who to look like. Because I think most of the people that I've seen in the past,
It's
they
all
all had
refinement.
something, right? But that's okay. Like, but
But
I,
it means we did too,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So, yeah, I think that's
And that's
such a key
our
piece.
our learning is definitely to like move past the judgment in it and just say like, is this person in front of me correct for me?
Mm,
Correct. Is it correct?
yeah,
That's it. And not having to like question it or go into and see if, is this, are they willing to change this or that? Like it
yeah.
really, if we're attuned, our energy and our body already knows before we find out if they, what, how much they drink, or, that's just, that's where we're at. And lots of people won't have an issue with that.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. And I'm like, oh, try to find somebody who doesn't drink. There's plenty of people that
They
don't
don't
drink.
care. Yeah.
And for me, I think yeah, if you check these box, I'm like, man, this is definitely a plus for me because you will understand my journey. This is why, right? I
Yeah.
think this is where I feel like you can understand. So I don't. At the end of the day, my big reason with this is because, honey, I don't have fucking time to explain myself.
We're in our 30s. It's
I'm
go
just
time.
I just like I'm not here to explain myself as to why I take care of my health. Like what the fuck?
I don't
I
want,
just
yeah.
no. I have no time for
I
this.
think it's, yeah. I also don't. It's just not having to justify anything in our lives, which I think
Mm.
maybe in the past we just haven't been there.
That one, I was like, I just picked,
What?
one of your things. Number 20 loves my height.
I've never had that.
Oh, I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, and you're,
I'm 6'1", but every guy I've met that says they're 6'1" is like about at my nose.
yeah.
So riddle me that.
You need a football player, some like a basketball player. Maybe that's 3 million. Yeah, why not?
NBA.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know. Well, I think this is a
But yeah,
huge.
that's a huge issue for me. And I think in the past I've always I mean, everyone around me has been like, that can't be non-negotiable. Like you're abnormally tall for a woman. And I come back to the same thing. It's like, yeah, but there's nothing I crave more. Oh, than like there is nothing finer. I
Exactly.
still have this, oh, dreamy man. Dreamy man. I won't
Oh,
say his name. Oh,
we know exactly what you're talking about.
nothing like
It's a little hint, hint. It started with a C.
what?
Oh no, we're not talking about the same person.
No,
Okay, never mind.
I don't even know who you're talking
Oh,
about.
I know who.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
course.
Shervy, but
Oh,
that's
Shervy.
I'm talking about a real tangible man
Okay,
in my
okay. I
life.
know it's probably
Um,
not attainable. That
hey,
one.
hey, hey.
I never know. I'm like, you're wishing for a divorce. Like, come on,
That's
you can't
true.
do this. He said.
Yeah. No, but I remember thinking like there's no feeling like that of like
Hmm.
wrapping my arms up around somebody and reaching up to kiss them. Mm. And I don't think a lot of women understand that. It's like, I mean, they do. Women love tall men, especially the short ones for some reason. But
Is it the feeling of, yeah, I mean,
it's just awkward.
safe?
And I've tried so many times. I think
Mm.
it's just like primal. Like I want to be taken care of, and
Well,
it's
yeah,
not that I
primal. Yeah,
can't.
that's what I'm like the point, right? So if you're a short
Yeah,
woman or a short guy, it depends. Like, I mean, I don't know, like short guy. I don't know. You could be as manly as I want to do. For me, it's like, yeah, my height or taller. If you're like, I think borderline. I think height for me was be the lowest would be like 5'11", 5'10". 5'10" is probably the lowest I can go.
yeah, I thought it was borderline for so many years. I was like, if it's the right person, if they're this, they're that. And this year I said, like, no, no more. No more. I
Yeah,
always used to say, it doesn't bother me. And then whenever guys say they're fine with it, eventually it becomes not fine. But I really, truly believe
exactly.
that this year I was like, I think that it's because they can feel that I'm actually not fine with it. And I'm just not claiming that I'm not fine with it.
Mm.
There's nothing like my arms are fucking long. I don't want to hold someone's hand
Yeah, you're not a
and
petite
put
woman.
my arm down and have to like I'm always trying to
Yeah.
squash in some way, adapt, adjust in some way.
I mean, you got
Yeah,
legs, you got hips, you got like, I mean, like you need somebody who's
I'm a
gonna
full
fucking
meal
handle you.
deal.
Yeah. The full meal deal. What's it called? Like a happy meal? No, not
No,
that
I'm
happy.
not happy.
Talk about health. Oh my god.
Not
Oh my
happy
god.
meal. To the right
Uh,
person, maybe. Oh man.
where should we go
Okay.
in that list?
Where should we
Should I pick
go?
another one from yours?
Sure.
Oh my gosh, this one. I love this one. Shows up and is ready to be a fucking king.
Yeah.
I cannot remember. I remember so many times, like, if you're going to have some fucking plans or set some plans, you better fucking follow them.
Yeah, I think that was my
That was
biggest.
a huge one, eh? I remember that. I
Yeah.
was like, you were livid.
Yeah, because I don't fucking understand a man that says, anyone in your life
Mm,
that says, let's go do this, this, and this, or I'm gonna do this, this, or this. I'm gonna show up like this, or this. You'll never question where you stand with da 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 da, and then blatantly has zero follow through. I didn't know this existed until this year. And
mm,
yeah, it did. I was livid because it made me realize I do have good people in my life, and I have met really great men in the past, and they just were not correct. End of story. Um, but that's there's no real but. How? You're just blatantly lying.
yeah.
You're just blatantly not showing up. And I think I tried to be like, oh well, I can feel that it's because of this. It's like I don't doesn't matter if I'm intuitive and I can feel their stuff or know their patterns or know what's going on behind the scenes anymore and why they can't show up. It doesn't fucking matter. If you can't show up and I'm just gonna sit there and observe.
Mm,
And if you say something and there's no follow through, I'm not going to bring it up and hold you to it. I'm going to move along.
mm,
And yeah, if you can't show up in the first stretch of a relationship, how the fuck are you going to show up for me when shit hits the fan?
yeah.
Yeah, no, that one does make me livid. Fuck you.
No, you gotta be there on time.
Yeah. I think this one is very similar. Makes JF feel safe. I got you, baby. Supported, can
Oh,
take the lead, but open to being passive. Oh,
I mean that piece of my well, I think the biggest piece for myself, like this is where like height, I think, but it does not like I mean, my ex was like oh my there's this thing as a kid, I've never been a fighter or anything, but like for me it's like almost like not I'm being like the woman in the couple or whatever the fuck that is, but I just want to I do want to feel so not that I wouldn't return a favor if something was to happen. No. But like, for me, like a guy that can actually stand up and has my
yes.
back in many ways too in a tough situation if it was with like a physical part piece of things you're
Yeah.
somewhere. I think like that is like that feeling of safety. I think it's I mean at the end of at our core primarily like primal like you say it's a huge thing. It's like definitely such an important thing. It's like for me is yeah it's just that feeling
Oh yeah.
of safety. And that's where, like, for me, the whole physical like, that part of it too, like, if you're somebody who's not even physically touching me, there's
There's such a disconnect.
such a disconnect of lack of safety too, like
But how is that person going to be any of these other things on your list if
yeah,
they can't physically be vulnerable? If they can't
yeah.
physically show that they care? Like
You
if
know,
there's a
if
wall there,
I'm such a bad liar, like, so for me, if there's something wrong, it's all over my face. The
and
energy, everything, like,
it's
for
got to
me.
come up.
So I'm just like, dude, like, yeah.
That's yeah. It's interesting because this is probably like if we went through this very similar to like our ideal clients except for maybe without the physical touch.
Avatar. Yeah.
But
But
you know what I mean?
I
Because it's
actually
like
even that with
I don't want clients
well,
who are
no.
closed off and who
No,
can't go into their depths of
exactly.
their soul and take accountability for what's coming up or
Yeah.
what they aren't able to put to words or I I'm not interested in that anymore because it will lead me to frustration and then both people feel dissatisfied. Both people
Mm,
feel like they aren't getting what they need out of that relationship, right? So I don't think it's any different. I think it's actually this is probably how I should start dating is like with a 6 quadrant paper and
exactly.
checking
Bring
and
your list. You should have like, I mean, at least if it's like because this is a big thing. If I was gonna go back to this piece of paper, at least you can use like an highlighter and go back and erase it. So if you're meeting somebody, you could be like,
start scribbling
"Listen,
and
I
making
have my
notes.
list. So this is gonna be your pre-interview. We might have a second,
Yeah, absolutely.
almost honestly to a point because it's like if you don't follow that through in some ways you end up like settling for something you don't actually desire. And I'm like, I'm noticing myself even in I don't even I mean,
Yeah, go there.
recently seeing this person. I'm like,
It's
but is
so
it truly
easy to
what do you
slide.
it's so easy because now, especially for us that and when it's so funny when people is like, "Oh, but you haven't been like, yeah, during COVID, try dating somebody during this time of period." I'm sorry, but I have high highs. I mean, I know it's your podcast, but I you know how I feel about this past 3 years, and it's been quite the the travel journey in meeting. I mean, okay, slow down, JF.
Spit it out.
Spit it out. Dun,
Today,
dun, dun.
Junior.
So for me, and it's been kind of funny to actually go back and forth with other people that have different point of views as well too, because I'm hoping to understanding, right? And it goes back to safety, especially with everything that has happened. But I have such a thing now that I feel like the online dating and um guys specifically, I'm not talking about women, because at the end of the day, I want a guy, I want a man. I don't want to have a woman. I love women. I can say when a woman is absolutely sexy, beautiful, and everything, but I wouldn't go any further. But guys, I think the species of male is going extinct in so many ways.
Extinct.
And say, oh, I don't know how you say that, but yeah, just the feminization. I think that's been such a huge thing, and I think the whole oh my gosh, I'm like, I know it's your podcast. I'm like, I just want to spit it.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think I kind of felt that way this year of like until I went to Spain. Um
I know. Oh my gosh.
but it's hard to find a manly man that's going to stand up, show up and
Yeah.
staying power. And not that everybody's supposed to stay because if they're incorrect, I want them to leave. If they feel belittled by me or, like, yeah, I can be a lot and I don't want somebody to stay that feels like I'm a lot and that I'm going to like demean them or judge them or this or that. So I know it goes both ways. But there's not a lot of men
Well, I,
that
I feel like on a health perspective, here's the thing. Let's just be bluntly honest. Is people are living such shitty lifestyle and the
yes,
environment is so toxic physically, mentally, chemically, and it's
toxins.
so and I think this is a huge important key piece of health, how health impacts everything. It's not just a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing, it's an emotional thing, it's a relationship thing as well too, because at the end of the day, men's as much as you're straight, you're gay, whatever, I mean, for women, I mean, women's are struggling too because I feel like even do you feel that same
Yeah, I
way?
wouldn't say that men are more unhealthy in
No,
that
not
aspect, do
unhealthy,
you
but do
think?
you feel like I feel like past over the past 3 years, like the male species has almost like been dinged down, like grow some
I knew
balls.
that's where you were going with
That's
this.
why I'm going, because
I just wanted to make you say it.
for me is like such a critical thinker. I'm not saying that whatever you agree or not, but for me it was like a huge thing, and I'm like, well, if you can't kind of like turn the coins on both sides, kind of like inspection, kind of like ask questions. I'm always been
Interrogate. Yeah.
situation things,
You know what though? I'm gonna not challenge you, but say that at the top of my list, like I still think if you work on the energetics, the rest doesn't
Yeah,
matter. You're gonna want to eat healthy. You're gonna question the things you're putting in your
exactly.
body. You're
Yes,
gonna
yeah.
question who's telling you, whether it's FDA or whoever is fucking telling you to put anything in your body, what food you're buying from the store, what water you're drinking, what,
Hmm.
you know, your environment that you're putting yourself in. If your energetics are correct, and this has been my experience with human design the last year, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The health will come.
Mm.
Because I know people who do all the things and should be healthy,
Oh yeah, no, for
but their
sure.
nervous system is fucking fried or they're, even for me when I was living in Fort McMurray full time, what that was doing to my physical health was fucking
Oh yeah.
scary.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
So
I
I
feel you.
think if you're tuned into the energetics, the
Yeah.
rest doesn't matter. And that's why I never actually really wanted an energetic man. I was like, I don't want some woo man who's gonna want to, be into who is as deep down the rabbit hole as I am. Like to me, that's not sexy, except for Shervin. But I think it's important that they have some sort of awareness around energetics,
Yeah.
and then they will be a man.
Hmm. I think like the biggest part as like a gay male, I just feel like, man, if you start scrolling, it's been tough, I
Don't
think.
you think we need to just stop scrolling though? I'll
No,
bring
no,
that to the
yeah, of
forefront.
course. I think that person will come. Like
Like I think that's
in
one thing that I
person.
just
Yeah.
decided recently is
Don't need
like
to travel, like I
no
said.
more. Like, and it's not even that you have to go travel like we
Yeah.
want to. It's for me, travel is like it's in my astrology. I've heard it from so many different people how important it is in my chart, in my design. Um, so that's a way that I activate different parts of myself and I become more magnetic because I'm more alive out in my life doing that. And I
Mhm.
naturally just attract people.
We
They
gotta
show
be
up.
out. Exactly.
But
But it's like that person, well, okay, like, that's just me challenging. I'm like, well, let's be fucking honest. It's not like your king's gonna show up at your door and knock at the door and say, "Ding dong, hi Krystal, hi
especially when you don't
JF."
have a door.
So exactly. So you still have to be somewhere. Either you're traveling somewhere in a place, or you're gonna go out to. But it depends. Like, where are you gonna go out to? This is why I think, like, for me, like, you're not gonna go out to a bar, but you might go out to, like, I don't know. Would you meet a guy at a yoga class?
Yeah.
Like, for me, that would be like ideal. Like, would be like biohacking gym, wellness center. The guy knows all this shit already. Like, I don't expect somebody to know that, but I think like that's probably be my ideal
Yeah,
places.
why not?
So I have to go to these places.
But I think it's even less about it's like if we could deconstruct it even further, what if it's less about like if you're following your energy and you're
Hmm.
following like what do I want to do today? I'm in San Diego. What do I want to do today? Oh, I'm really feeling like going to this coffee shop. Oh, that's weird. I don't feel like going to yoga. I actually like have this strong urge to go for a walk here. Those are like truly the most synchronistic moments in my life. Like I remember being in Costa Rica and I had just got there and I was supposed to go diving the next day, but I really wanted to go. I just got there. I was excited to go diving. And so I go to the front desk and book this dive. They pick me up and there was like an odd number. It was all couples and then me and someone else. And so they were my dive buddy. And then it was just this synchronistic thing. I wanted company. I had manifested meeting somebody while I was there before I left. I did like processing on it, was intentional that like in the next couple months, this is what I was calling in. And then we met that way. There was no, we didn't have to go online
Hmm.
or, and it was just like, I didn't have to, and I didn't have to initiate anything. It was like, would you be open to going for a drink? Set it up. And it was like the most fucking fun date and the most fucking fun evening, probably to this day, that I've had with a guy. Like, we went to a Spanish rodeo.
What?
Yeah. And like,
Oh my god, they rolled
they're
a
selling
ball.
churros and like, but I didn't understand anything of it. So he's
That
like,
was in Costa Rica.
yeah. So he made me guess what was happening.
Oh, let's go.
And like I'm telling you, man, I wish I should show you the video. Like there's kids in the ring and they
Mm.
had a game where they tied a red ribbon or
Yeah,
something
yeah. Like you see in the
on the
movies.
bull and then it was for $50. The one who got it got $50. Anyways, side tangent, but I really do believe that if we let our energetics and
Yeah.
we trust ourselves, it'll lead us to the right places. And for me, on the record, I am done with dating apps.
So she said it. So if you're a guy listening to this, so don't expect to find Crystal and have you better knock at her door when you have one.
When I find one.
And I
Coming
think
soon.
and that's what I love of you because also, we can also get caught up into our past stuff and experience and things. So I think it allows me to also grow and expand my thinking and the way I see things and really trusting the process and that. Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest piece is really looking the whole energetic of how things unravel when you're traveling. It's just I think to me the way I see this, I feel like
It's
it's
magic.
yeah, exactly. It's almost like it
It's
literally
where I like
is.
that's where I light up. It's what I'm supposed. It's so silly to me to think that I would even have entertained somebody that didn't travel, didn't have a desire to travel. Like it's literally how I come alive.
Oh my gosh, Crystal, your
What?
list. There's two things I'm like caught my highest because it's almost like we have the similar things in men.
I know.
47, 48, but 47. Dark skin. Like what does I mean we love all culture, don't worry. Like we're not racist or anything. Oh my goodness. It's not even close.
This is
Like
an ideal list.
okay, this is an ideal list because I mean I'm like you know how much I
Is
love
that what I
Latino.
wrote? Oh, I just that's all I
Yeah,
wrote.
dark
Dark
skin.
skin.
So what does that dark skin means to you?
Mm,
We love color.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
I
I
love a
know.
tanned man. I went on a date with a
I can't go on a date
A
with an albinos.
ginger
Sorry,
in
you know,
a ginger in
I know that's
Barcelona.
genetics, but yeah, how is that? He probably has hemochromatosis like me. Is he Scottish or Irish? I would just ask.
No, he was anyways, it doesn't matter. I
Okay.
forget. That's a
I
whole
couldn't. I'm
different folklore.
sorry, but maybe I could.
But no,
Depends.
I
But I don't
was just
know.
like I went, no, no, that's just my preference. That's
I
it.
can't go out with somebody who's gonna burn the sun,
Yeah, I think that's actually a big thing. That he
right?
was so burnt.
Oh my
He went
gosh!
and played volleyball that day. It
And you
was
love the beach.
so burnt.
That's why you're
Yeah, and
crazy,
he's like, I
dude.
can't go for what did he
It needs
say?
more copper. Sorry.
Anyways,
That's
I
what I.
was
Well,
just
that.
like, I wasn't attracted to him anyways, but I was like, no, I love me some dark skin. I
Yeah.
always have. Always have.
I think Latino is like for me is.
They're so sensual too.
Oh, this is why we get it. You know,
Oh.
it's. I mean, I just went to a Latino Halloween party, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
They
like.
don't give a fuck about just like showing you
Mm.
how they feel.
Oh, no, that's exactly why. Because like the whole physical touch, when they
Ugh.
get it, you don't even have to ask or whatnot. I mean, some people. I mean, as a guy,
And they
oof,
just like value the I don't know. They I genuinely like I just remember thinking like he genuinely thinks I'm so fucking beautiful. Like he just sees women as the most beautiful thing.
yeah.
And I was
So there you
like
go. You're refining your list, Crystal. Congratulations. You say Latino calling in the Latino
I don't
heat.
know if I'm calling it a
Yeah,
Latino
I don't know.
per
I mean,
se. I'm just going for the dark skin.
that could be many, but I mean, like Latinos are
Yeah,
pretty
but
broad.
like we don't know if I want to live in Europe, if I want to live, like we're an open book at the
South
moment.
Africa.
I don't know.
Don't, no.
Wow,
I don't
you
know.
went there.
I know I did. It's okay. We'll leave it there. But yeah, I mean, we're just talking about South Africa, so
I know. I mean, that's where my mentor is.
exactly. That's why.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I think we both
Okay.
want similar
And
features.
the other
The
thing too, you
6'5".
said broad shoulders and thick arms. Like literally, I think I have that on my list.
Hmm.
My avatar
Build.
built.
Man. Capitals. Man.
Man,
Masculine.
I know. I'm sorry. Like I'm not sorry.
Dark hair, light brown, clean cut to a little scruff. You're really. I like this.
I love beard.
This is why I wanted to do
I like
this
dating
because it gives us
myself.
both ideas.
Basically,
I
it
just
literally
don't
is.
want to date
No,
myself.
well,
Good
obviously.
plumpy lips.
Oh my gosh, yes, that one for me is such a killer. I'm sorry if a guy that has small lips, I just can't handle it. You got to be able to really like freaking bite these lips, like with your lips, like not your freaking teeth. Like
Oh
literally,
yeah.
for me, plumpy lips. Like there's like in between. That's why I like Latino in general. Like
Yeah, yeah. And their lips aren't dehydrated like ours.
oh yeah, as well. Oh, so plumpy. This is great. Like
I know. I love this. I think we
mm,
should like start wrapping it up. But I love how you say on here, proud of JF, wants to show JF off because that's exactly how I feel. Like
yeah, that one
I'm,
was on your
I'm
list.
so excited to meet somebody that I can be like that for and have reciprocated.
Yeah.
And not have to fake because I mean I've been in positions where I've been like, oh, they need me to affirm them. I can feel it. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Oh my gosh, that
You
would be so
know, like
cheesy.
I'm just so excited. I realized that how much depth I'm here for, and how much depth I crave, and how much depth has like I haven't even given to myself in the past. And it's like
Mm,
after this past 6 months of all the I don't even want to call it healing, but just like getting to know myself and loving myself and getting really intimate with myself, I'm so fucking excited to collide worlds with somebody and see the shift.
amen.
That's it. That's all
I
I got to
mean,
say about
I
that.
think that's like such a huge speed. I mean, we're both ready for.
We're
I'm here
claiming
for the
it.
trip. Like, I'm here for the journey. I don't need to have a clear fucking path
Oh
because
no,
that
I want the
no.
express lane. We're done with scenic routes. Nope. Scenic route is gone. I've taken enough scenic routes and lacked enough clarity to
Okay, I want
plow
to.
through
I
a
don't want to.
lot of men.
That's okay. I mean, for me, definitely desire that, but also at the same time, like, let's discover this journey.
The journey, yeah, for sure. I don't want
I
to
think it's
meet
really the
someone
journey.
and put a bunch of pressure
It's
on
not
it
like,
and
yeah,
been there, done that. I want to just live in a city with someone and like date them normally, you know? I think
yeah.
especially for us both doing like trying long distance stuff, it's
Oh
like I'm
no,
excited to put roots in a city
yeah.
and go out in my life and just create that life, be alive and meet somebody and have them fucking show up and date. And
And what I mean by that, like, is for me, is like tomorrow I'm trying somewhere or I see somebody that is also can work remote. I think that was a huge thing for me now. And that's the part of the piece of freedom where I definitely desire, or if that person has a location, I mean, honey, I'm open to go. Like, I'm not locked down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only thing I would caution from like
Yeah,
not caution, this is my experience. I
true.
thought that I was like ready. Like, yeah, if somebody I meet somebody and they're like I mean, this is what I essentially manifested this year was
Yeah,
if I meet somebody
yeah,
and things like things happen, I can just I mean, I'm in a position I've created freedom in my life where I can up and move. And that was a big I mean, that was a big refinement for me because that's exactly what I manifested. Somebody that was in as transitional a phase of their life as me. And then I mean, when we have shifts and changes, it's like that energy can shift so fast, right? So
hmm,
it's like once that new life started or once that life settled in, it was like, oh my God, I would be giving up, not giving up, putting in all the effort.
exactly.
I also don't
We're
want to
fucking
be,
tired.
I want somebody who's going to meet me halfway, who's going to hop on a plane and come meet me. Whereas I never knew that before. I was always like, no, it's fine. I don't like where I live. I'll just hop on a plane and go to them. But we have to remember that is this person showing up?
Exactly.
Are we going to ever feel like we're the one always putting in the effort? If things no matter how this goes or turns, am I going to feel a certain way for doing this? For like up and moving somewhere? Like, what if you move somewhere and then your heart gets smashed?
True.
Not that you can live like that. You have to fucking trust yourself and move. But are you going to be bitter? I am.
Oh, for sure. Bitterness is like it's my style.
It's your
Jesus,
nut self.
that's my not self. Period. Trust me. If I'm fucking bitter, you're gonna know.
Oh, I
That's
know.
oh man, bitterness is probably like oh no, true, absolutely. I mean, I'm up for an adventure right now. I mean, I'm
Anyways, yeah, I think an adventure is great. And that's
but
exactly,
yeah.
yeah.
At the end of the day, the reminder here is don't settle for nothing less.
No.
Honestly, we make this is why I feel like baby boomers is so like many of them are really happy, but many of them are fucking like
It's
terrible. I've lived this personally. So I'm not a baby boomer, but I know a lot of baby boomers are really
but it's our
unhappy.
generation too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I would say there's not my mom asked me recently. I had some really great conversations with her recently, and some of the things she questioned me on was, is there anyone in your life who, if they were single, you would pursue? Or are there any of your friendships that their partner is like really gives you the vision of what you want? And I had to sit with it and I was like, no, none. Zero.
Me.
Yeah, JF. He washes my hair for me, pours me a bubble bath, takes me go karting when I've had a rough couple weeks,
Well, you took me
cooks
go. Okay, let's be honest here. You took me go karting.
mutually. Yeah, but
Like,
that's our
oh
relationship
my
though. I
gosh.
love playing relationship with
But
you for
see,
that
and you say
reason.
this, and I'm so happy because like that makes you feel so fucking good and seen, and like, but for me, this is how I love, like, and I show love, and like, I love treating like taking, man, taking care of my friends that way. I think it just warms
I think this is how we
my
get to
heart. I
like
love
play
it.
pretend
But
and
it's not
prepare
even
for
like
our people
it.
though.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Like
absolutely, and I think like that's why I'm so intentional. Like, I was seeing this guy, and it's like, oh, what's happening here? Like, I'm like crawling and just on the couch, and I'm just so easy. That's why I could probably get married in like 2 weeks.
I know, but I won't
I'd be
let
calling you, inviting
you.
you, and
Oh
Krystal,
man. Only if I can wear the most bougie dress.
right? You can have the spotlight of the wedding.
No, I won't do that.
No, I would definitely. Would you like? Do you want to get married?
No.
No.
Neither of us have American citizenship and we both want it.
So we'll get married with an American,
Yeah.
maybe. So I think this is yeah.
Welcome to our therapy episode.
I think. Oh my
I
gosh.
was gonna call it. Maybe I'll just save that one.
Yeah. I think relationship, but it's like not settling.
And claiming what you want. You have to start. I know for so many years I didn't want to claim that I wanted a relationship, that I wanted someone who showed up and was ready to commit because that was A scary to me, but B scary what if that's not what they want?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of power in what I'm moving through right now is like decisiveness. That's what, the word that my mentor really put in my ear this week was like start being decisive and bold in when you're making these choices. And then, it's scary to be like, yeah, well, maybe. I remember being like, yeah, maybe I don't know if I want kids. And it's like, because it's fucking scary to claim it and say, yeah, I do, even though that's like, I don't even know. My body can't even comprehend that right now. But why am I going around saying, I don't know, maybe I'll know when I know? I fucking know. So
Do you
if you
feel it's a
fucking
pressure
know,
as a woman?
yeah, of course.
Right?
Your
I
eggs
mean,
are shriveling up.
oh my gosh, but I mean,
But
yeah.
like so many people are like freeze their eggs. Like I know
More
girls,
people having kids much later now.
yeah, for sure. But I know it's like, I mean, I know from treating people are coming in that are like 8 years younger than me, being like, well, TikTok, like I got to get moving. I'm so stressed.
Wow.
So, and I think that's a big part of,
Yeah.
people settling as well in our eyes, in
Yeah.
our 6'2" eyes. But anyways, that's our lists.
Yeah. This was great. I mean, definitely up for another conversation. My
Yeah,
gosh. Is there anything like last touch point that we haven't touched? I know we could probably, I mean,
we could just talk forever because
we could
that's
talk
just us. But
forever.
no,
And I
I
think
think it's
like,
just like, don't let anybody tell you that, even with a list, it's like, do you really, for so long I was like, do I really need this big list? Or, I've heard it from people like, oh, buy my list, buy my checklist for your soulmate, calling in your soulmate. And it's like, oh, fuck off. It's like, get into your body, get real with yourself, stop being scared to tell yourself what you need and start claiming it. I mean, obviously I'm not a relationship on expert on
expert.
relationships because I can't even say it,
We're giving your
let alone have
experience
it.
and
But
nothing
it's like, I do feel at this pivotal point in my life where it's like, no more. This stops here. This madness of dating boys and or dating incorrect men and trying to mold them into correctness is fucking game over. But you got to be real with yourself and what you want and go out and live your life. It's
mm,
not about, I think it's less, I was always so much about manifestation and I still am, but just go live your life instead of focusing on your rituals and all the other bullshit that everybody else is going to tell you. I follow all these relationship coaches just to be triggered by them and grow through it. But like, you're your template. If you have support in helping you keep step back into you, you don't need 5 coaches and 5 mentors for every aspect of your life because you trust yourself. So you make moves from there.
yes. I think it's such a huge piece.
All
I mean,
right.
you'll know. So
They say you'll know, you know when you know. You'll know when you know.
exactly.
You'll just know.
He's gonna roll out with his Bentley, picking me up and bringing me on his private jet. This is when I'm gonna know. We're just playing over here as well, but I'm kind of serious in some ways. So if you're out there,
And it just
I'll
happens
take
when
care
you're
of you.
least expecting it, JF.
Exactly. So it's like, you know what?
Go out and live your life.
I'm gonna be on the yacht soon. So I'll see you there.
Next week, I will be.
Sounds good.
All right.
See you
That's it.
next
That's
time.
all. Thanks for joining us today. That is it. Be courageous, be bold, let anyone down but yourself along the way as you confidently activate or trigger the correct players in your pinball game. And with an open and defined heart, I encourage you to go forward with curiosity and create the depth and satisfaction in the entirety of your life, the entirety of your career, the entirety of the relationships that your soul came here craving, seeking, destined to create. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it if you left a review below. You can reach me at thekrystaleffect.com or on Instagram, the.krystal.effect. We'll leave that below.